Hello, beautiful beings. Rosie Glow here with a little energy update to prepare us for the upcoming new moon in Virgo, which is actually just under a week away, but the energies start to build ahead of time. And if you're like me and you like to surf that edge and be ahead of the wave of change, then that's exactly what we do when we prepare with these updates for the co-creation meditation that will be taking place in a few days' time. So you want to mark your diaries now, 12:30 p.m. BST, that's British Standard Time. That's 5 hours earlier EST, 8 hours earlier Pacific Standard Time. And this is going to be when we get together for our new moon co-creation meditation. And for me, it's all about being the divine child. So what I've got here is a piece of selenite, just to activate this consciousness within us of our inner lightsaber, because our inner lightsaber is what I call our core line, which is like an acupuncture needle that connects us to source through our soul chakra, connects us to Gaia, to the ascending earth paradigm, some call Kuna, through our earth chakras. And we're learning to be this rod of light, to recognize that we are transmitting energy frequencies. And so we've been doing a lot of work over the last few months to help evolve beyond our ego conditioning into our divine conditioning, into our divine human selves. And last full moon, what we were doing was working with the energy of unconditionally receiving. So just allowing ourselves to let go of resistance to what comes our way, so that we trust that even if we're encountering something that doesn't feel very good, it's there for us to encounter, to then be able to activate whatever resistance is in us so that we can clear it. And as we clear it, we have more space inside of us for our soul light. This is how we become activated divine humans. So if you're new to me, I'm a multidimensional success coach. I teach people to live as their higher selves, to put their soul in control, and to really learn to have a sense of humor for the blind spots in which how we actually try and prevent this happening. Because so many of the people I work with have got one foot on the gas and one foot on the brakes. And it's like we're trying to go forward, but there's parts of us that are still trying to keep us where we're used to being. And this is what we're all evolving beyond. So those of us who have been doing the deep inner work and we're more transversing is one way of saying it, but traversing is another way of saying it. So transverse, traverse, either way, we need to do both. But we're on the 4 to 5D bridge, are going to be doing a lot of work on behalf of clearing the collective toxicity, the collective resistance that is there subconsciously, because we've already done a lot of our own inner work. Some of us are going to still be journeying the 3D to 4D bridge, and therefore we're doing a lot of our own inner clearing still. And there's a couple of cards here that I feel really epitomize our preparation for this new moon in Virgo. And one of them is choosing to be your absolute best self. So if you're new to these cards, this is the lovely Leslie Sloan. They're multi-dimensional tools. They're absolutely phenomenal in themselves. But this card here is Bronze 1, and it's all about just being a shining example of your human self, okay? But this being is shining so brightly with so much light because they've activated their soul consciousness in their bodies. And for all of us, we need to have upgraded our inner masculine, inner feminine, and inner child. And the Virgo opportunity is a healing of the inner child. So we've been kind of working towards this, which is a unified consciousness, being able to trust that we are all pieces of a puzzle that come together. The new game that allows us to stabilize in 5D consciousness is one where we are all a puzzle piece in the collective puzzle of the most graceful, easy, and joyful ascension paradise timeline. Okay. But before this, we used to play chess. We used to play chess between the 3D and 4D worlds. And what we would end up doing is basically swapping one fear narrative for another fear narrative. And that's what is still going on in the collective. So whether you're into the alternate narratives of what's going on in the world today, or you're into the mainstream narrative, either way, the net result is fear. And that's what we want to eradicate. Now, when I say eradicate, I mean transmute. And that's what we do with multidimensional tools. So let me just finish this bit before I go further. What we're activating through the new moon in Virgo is our divine child. This is like being in the creator studio of your sphere of compassion. I'm just seeing if I can actually get the light right so you can see it. This is a child receiving all of the energy from the divine and using their creativity to channel that divine into this world. That means you follow your bliss, you follow your joy, and you anchor the surplus into your earth chakra, into the crystalline grid. And we look at Leo as sort of that inner child season. It's all about the ego. And we've just had the full moon, which was the counterpart, which was in Aquarius, which is the sort of collective, the impersonal versus the personal. But now the nitty gritty of the Virgo energy is about the physical reality that we're in. And I believe there's a real turn towards our health, towards actually being able to be really honest with ourselves and accept the legacy we've inherited from our ancestors, accept the legacy we've brought into this life in terms of our soul consciousness, and actually start to make some conscious choices about what we want to ascend beyond, what we want to transmute. So perhaps there've been habits in your family for many generations that, you have also taken on. It can be a habit to worry about things all the time, or to stress unnecessarily, or to look for problems where there aren't any. It could be a physical addiction. It could be a way of showing up in the world that you have learned that you're actually like, you know what? I'd like to know the me beyond this. I'd like to know the me who doesn't react or respond in the world in this way. Who else is there? Who else is there that I can connect to as an aspect of myself to get to know? I'm curious. Now, bear in mind that we're passing beyond judgment here. We're not judging good or bad. We're just saying, this is the way things have been so far in my life. Is there another way? What other way is there that I want to explore? And I've been feeling, I've been uncharacteristically quiet for the last, I'd say 10 days, maybe a little bit longer. So it's been post-birthday, post first wedding anniversary, sort of healing, just leveling out, just being in my zone. And I felt like a little floating seed. And I don't know about you, but certainly in the collective energy, I've been feeling like there's hope. All right, there is the potential now to positively anticipate the change that we've been calling in for so long over the last 18 months to 2 years. Let's just say 2020 onwards. We have been, many of us, including me, have been talking about what we're sensing coming ahead of actually seeing evidence of it. And this is a very important element of stabilizing in 5D consciousness. It's actually being able to hold your energy in alignment with that which hasn't yet materialized yet in your physical reality, but you can sense around you. That's where this wand is so powerful, because it helps us to anchor every day into what we want to create rather than what we see around us as our supposed truth and reality. So the sense I've been getting is it doesn't really matter what the deletes or the powers that should not be try to put forward anymore as some kind of coercion, some kind of control mechanism, some kind of fear tactic. Humanity has already made its choice. And all around the world, there's been this uprising of, no, we're not going to just comply. We're not going to acquiesce to the choices being made for us. And this says something about us evolving beyond infanthood, beyond toddlerhood, which typically the Leo season's connected to. And it's kind of getting us into a place where we're willing to start taking some responsibility. We have to start with the physical. We start with our physical reality and we say, okay, what's in my control? What can I shift so that I create a more robust vessel for my energy to flow? That is what I'm seeing is coming. And being a floating starseed in the abyss of the universe, that's floating around in the dark. This is about floating around in the unknown and trusting that where you are going, where you are being led towards, is for your highest good, is in alignment with your soul's truth, is in alignment with putting your soul in control and surrendering to your higher self and unconditionally receiving, right? For a long time, we have been very scared of the unknown. We have, in fact, been trying to prevent change on every level. That's what the establishment is. It's established thought, it's established science, it's established pillars of society that are all under review right now. Because actually, what they're established on are very dodgy, shaky foundations, like not good. So we've been pulling everything up, getting to the root cause of why we are dealing with such a toxic global culture, if you like, and choosing instead what we want. So we are in two bands, is what I'm seeing. Those who are awakening, those who have been pulling down the old world, like clearing the path, and those who are here to help people to live the new path. And I'm definitely on that second camp. The more I go into the first camp of trying to pull the old world down, that depletes my energy. It puts me into low vibration. It attracts challenging experiences into my life. It's not my energy. I've been through that sort of indigo polemic frequency as part of my evolution, but others are going through it now. And this is part of their journey, is to help pull the old world down, to channel that anger constructively. But those of us who are empaths, emotional empaths, we're sensitives, we're here to build the new world. And I do just want to mention again my beautiful Divine Feminine Leadership Retreat, which is actually a 3-month container. We have a physical retreat in September the 17th to the 19th in Forest Row, so in the UK. But we're actually starting this container next Friday, and it will go on until November. And it is a container for learning to live as our divine feminine, as our divine human selves, to stabilize in 5D consciousness, to refine how we want to share our gifts with this world, and to truly make that choice to step beyond the fear paradigm controlling our actions, the lack paradigm controlling our choices. And therefore we fully commit to infinite wealth, to our divine blueprint of wealth, which is all part of what this container is about. So if you've been hearing me talk about the Magdalene flame, you've been hearing me talk about the Lady Nada flame, and bear in mind that you're being called. There's a heart call here to invite you into an up-leveling of whatever you're doing with the feminine in this world, however you're empowering the feminine, either within yourself or in the collective, whatever you feel your gift is that you want to serve in this world, you want to offer in this world, but something keeps holding you back. You keep getting this old story coming up again and again. This is for the feminine. This is for the women that are being called together to seed a particular vision and vibration into themselves and into the earth. So if you're feeling the call to this, I may just have a space for you. We've been moving things around. And for those who are really feeling the heart call, please get in touch with me ASAP. Cutoff has to be before Friday, the 10th of September. So I'm calling you in now so that I can integrate you into the container, and you can really open yourself up. So you might not think you are a leader, a divine feminine leader. You might not think that you have a role to play that is actually about being in the public, being in the domain of change on the forefront. But it's actually about us being able to speak our truth spell into this world. It's about being able to overcome that obstacle that keeps pulling us back. It's the fear of persecution, the fear of attack, the fear of being annihilated, of being ostracized, of being judged. This stuff that literally cuts us down is the stuff that, as the feminine, we really must evolve beyond, because we are the ones with the wombs that then bring in the next generation. So whether we're going to have babies ourselves, or we're going to be supporting women who are having children, or we're just in the energy of being in the feminine and nurturing projects to completion, this is very, very important work. So although this new moon is about the divine child and activating the divine child codes and moving beyond helplessness in hopefulness, and actually moving into recognizing that we are co-creating the vibration of what happens next. We are co-creating the reality in front of us through our positive anticipation, through our vibration. A divine child can only come from a womb space that can hold that divinity. So we are also constantly up leveling our own inner feminine, okay, and our inner masculine. And this is an ongoing play. I'm working with people at the moment to help access those divine feminine leadership codes, to bring in the soul consciousness, because feminine leadership, female leadership and empowerment is very much on the rise at the moment. We're not here to dominate the masculine. We did matriarchy, we did patriarchy. Now we're here to unify and to bring in the qualities of the masculine, feminine, and inner child in their higher octave, in their higher consciousness, to lead humanity into the new age, into the new earth paradigm, into the paradise codes that we're all seeding on this planet. I am so excited for this. Okay. I'm so excited that we have come to this point that I can feel in the baseline that there is this sense of calm. Whatever comes up, we can deal with it. The bottom line is we're all in place now to bring this new wave of change forward. Okay. But we have to self-care. We have to look after ourselves, and we have to be honest with where we're not looking after ourselves as well as we could. This is not about beating yourself up. It's not about being neurotic. Okay. It's not about obsessing. It's just about grounding, rooting down, looking at what can be done in the physical to create more grace and ease in our own lives and in the collective. And please also remember that if you are not of the feminine in your physical vibration, so you're not showing up as a woman in this life, the Fearless, Loved Up and Free to Be Me program is my signature program for activating people's divine human consciousness, for helping us learn how to put our soul in control. And the results are staggering. They're phenomenal. Whether it is love you want to bring into your life, whether it's more money, whether you actually want to activate your soul consciousness, or again, eliminate the limitation and lack that running your life any further. We have to expect to thrive and to clear up the resistance to thriving in order to thrive, because every one of us has a piece to play. We all have our puzzle piece in this collective that we're co-creating. So we can't play small. There is no place for playing small. The activation has to happen now. So if you haven't yet embarked on that journey, then please do check out my website, rosieglow.com. You can sign up to the free prosperity practice, the Star Salutation Prosperity Practice. That really works if you work it. That's why when people feel like they don't have the income to be able to work with me, I always say to them, start with that prosperity practice, set your intention, whatever the course costs, you can co-create it. This is very important that you're willing to step into the place of co-creating your reality. And I'll always give you the tools to do it. It all starts with a breakthrough call. It starts with you being willing to drop out of your head into your heart, being willing to learn how to do it and to practice those skills with some awesome coaches, including me, who are well versed and constantly developing their divine human essence as they learn to live a 5D consciousness in a 3 to 4D physical reality. Right, where can I go with this in terms of prep for Friday? So I would like all of you to consider if there was something you could change that you feel has power over you still in your life, like an ancestral pattern. It could be a habit, it could be a thought form, it could be an addiction, as I said. It could be a way that you show up when things feel tough in life. What is it that you would like to upgrade, to evolve? What is the seed you want to plant? Because we are seeding, I am the divine child. We are seeding that we have been born from a divine consciousness womb, that we have been conceived through the divine masculine and feminine coming together. We're seeding this now. So we're evolving beyond the trauma stories that we brought into this life. And that means you kind of have to forgive mum and dad and grandmother and great grandmother and everyone else. And when I share this video, I'm actually going to put a link to a video that's another YouTube video by someone else about the subtle abusive patterns that parents in their parenting style pass on to their children. And it's tough to watch. You know, I have a 20-year-old, nearly 21-year-old daughter, and I have to confess that probably I displayed quite a lot of those parental patterns. They were certainly displayed towards me. Now, I want to give you this analogy. When you go into a home that you've purchased and you're renting, and you know it's the perfect house, but it's got a load of clutter in it you need to get rid of. You can spend your life getting stressed about who put that clutter there and why it's there and why they didn't do things differently and what they were thinking. Or you can just get on with clearing it, put all your energy into getting rid of it. You don't need to know the details as to why these things are there. And this analogy is down to, again, the habits, the patterns of behavior, the expectations of life, the addictions that currently seem to have some kind of control over you. You know, I was born in a soup of stress and worry, like truly, right, and lack consciousness. I was also born in a very charming family, a very loving family, even if the lovingness was a little bit lacking in maturity. Okay, so I got a lot of gifts from those who brought me into this life, as much as I brought a lot of challenges in that I had to overcome. the important thing is just to get on with clearing the room. Okay, later on you can work out the whys and the wheres, etc., but for now just clear it out. So what do you want to let go of? What do you want to experience instead? Who is the you that you want to embody? As a divine child, you don't worry about whether you can actually achieve something. You actually just consider, what do I want to do next? Like, what am I fascinated about exploring? What would I like to have the experience of? And it could be just feeling financially secure. It could be feeling as though you've come home in a relationship. It could be feeling as though you really love yourself unconditionally. It could be being a magnet for something like more clients or opportunities. It could be allowing yourself to explore your creativity in a way that you're not used to. It could be any number of things. This is your magic wand. And again, if you're into crystalline grids, I do basically what I do is I purchase crystals from a really ethical wholesalers, and so I put together crystal grids for those who want to energize their home, and every crystal grid has a selenite wand at its center. So this is such a powerful, beautiful energy. It actually cleanses itself, and it's really, I've been sleeping with it under my pillow as well. It's like your magic wand and your inner lightsaber. Okay, and that's why I want to invite you to invite your inner divine child to come out and play. And through play, we can actually heal just about every aspect of our wounded self if we're willing to let go of the wounds and stop identifying with those wounds as who we actually are. They're not who we are, they're just how we've learned to be, and we can learn to be a different way. It's a choice. So be careful about what you claim as you. Be careful about what you claim after the words I am. Do you really want to claim whatever you're saying about yourself? And what's yours? You know, whenever I look to the left, I'm releasing the past. I remember it's not who I am, it's just what I've been through. When I look to the right, I am breathing positive anticipation into the future. What wonderful things can come about that I haven't even thought about. You've got to allow an element of mystery. You've got to allow yourself to float in the unknown and feel excited about it rather than terrified. Because if you're terrified in the unknown, you're going to attract reasons to be terrified. If you choose to focus on being excited in the unknown and the unfamiliar, you will attract reasons to be excited. It's that simple. Like, that's how simple it is. And part of the reason that I've mentioned this video about abusive parental forms is so many of us are either clearing our ancestry at this point, and by that I mean our bloodline, cellular memory, or our soul ancestry in terms of the wounds that we've come to integrate and transmute. But many of us are working in the collective as well and doing that work in the collective. And it's so important to look around and to see how that parental style of abuse is actually in our collective. It's in the pillars of our society, our cultures, our religions. It's in the pillars of our family expectations. It is basically the establishment that is coming down right now. So again, not everything is terrible, right? Take the best, leave the rest. Right? What do you want to take into your new world that exists in this old one? And what do you want to evolve to its higher octave? This is the power we have. So when we come together for the new moon co-creation meditation, we will be activating our divine child code so we can activate more joy, more fun in our lives as we clean up the mess, because it's going to be a while, right? We have to have patience, and we have to remember that whenever we try something new, it takes practice to become good at it. And usually new ideas are not met with wide open arms, they're met with resistance. So we need to be persistent in our new ideas, in our offerings, even if we're being met with resistance, either internally or around us. Just remember, those that give you the hardest time are just aspects of your own consciousness that you once upon a time were. You've grown beyond, or they're an aspect of your shadow that you perhaps haven't owned yet that it's important to own. So whoever your nemesis is, they're actually your best mate. They're there to test you, to help you get more aligned, to clear up more resistance, and to see where you fall off your perch, love, because we all do, right? So I don't want to bang on too much longer about this, but I will invite you to prepare yourself. So I always start with ceremonial grade cacao in these co-creation meditations. I'll have some more back in stock soon. The next lot is coming is from Ecuador. And always the crystals come in as well. We work with the cards for intention. But I'm inviting you at this point to consider, if we are going to allow ourselves to receive, if we're going to allow ourselves to surrender to our higher selves, if we're going to allow ourselves to access infinite wealth as a blueprint, if we're going to allow ourselves to thrive in a world that's just used to surviving, what tools do we need? What pictures do we need to paint for ourselves so that we can really get excited about the work ahead? That's what I invite everyone to do. And again, just to say a little bit about this hopefulness versus positive anticipation versus actually being able to set the scene for victory. The divine child expects victory. The divine child has positive anticipation about everything. Things will work out. Of course, they're going to work out. And if they don't work out, we'll deal with it. When we start to say, I hope things will work out, I'm just keeping all my fingers crossed, it implies the idea that things aren't working out for your highest good all of the time. Now, they won't be working out for your highest good all of the time if you're someone who can't help but focus on that one little thing that could trip you up and constantly energize it by worrying about it, by talking about it. That is something that does not belong in your divine child studio, okay? The child that's grown in a womb of worry, of stress, of anxiety, of doubt, of fear, will doubt themselves, will stress at the smallest little obstacle, right? The smallest little challenge. Rather than have a can-do attitude, that aspect of our being has a can't-do attitude and will look for the first opportunity to shut down and go, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. So these are the aspects of our inner child that we want to encourage to see life differently, encourage to get curious about how they could move beyond that victim consciousness into a state of empowerment. And that's what I'm going to invite you to join me for on Friday, 12:30 BST, so 5 hours before 11, 12, 10, 9, 8:30 EST, and then 3 hours before that, 7:30, 6:30, 5:30 PST. I believe I've got that all right. And obviously, we're 9 hours ahead in Australia, 11 in New Zealand. Come join me, my friends. Add your energy to this seed planting. And remember that the next full moon, I'm really excited to announce. We're going to do it on the day of the full moon, which is, I believe, Monday, the 20th of September. And I am going to incorporate my multidimensional yoga class and the co-creation meditation for my inner circle, the energy upgrade, energy healing that comes with the full moon. So if you're excited about that, again, just put it in your diary, Monday the 20th. It will start at 7:30. For now, I want you to join me on Friday, this coming Friday at 12:30. And just keep an eye on the website, join the community. You'll get updates on all of this and the free prosperity star salutation practice. And if you want to join us for Fearless, you can join at any point in the at any point in the year. It starts now. We've got positions for next week if you want to join us. Starts with a breakthrough call. And the breakthrough call in itself is a big shift. If you decide that you do want to go ahead with the coaching, we take the cost of the call off the coaching. We're very, very confident that just with the breakthrough call, you're going to get that sense of where you are and where you want to go next. And we'll look at what resistance comes up and we will guide you to the next level so that you're ready to say yes to your success. And if you like the sound of all of this, please do subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me now. Please do share this with others. Remember, the worm has turned. The baseline is one of our victory. Okay, we are assured. We don't need to hope. We don't need to pin our hopes on someone to save us. We are doing that internal work that is allowing everything to shift around us. So well done, humanity. Lots of love from me. Namaste.